The sun hung high over Anloga's market, casting long shadows over crates of tilapia and baskets of mangoes. Kwabena Ofori, Ghana's youngest real estate mogul, reclined in the back of a tinted black Range Rover. He wasn't supposed to stop here. This was just a land survey en route to Adafo for his next luxury resort. But then he saw her. A barefoot girl stood at the roadside, tray of roasted plantains balanced expertly on her head. Her school uniform was torn at the collar, yet her posture held quiet pride. What made him sit up, though, was a watch on her wrist, a silver-faced leather timepiece with a line crest etched inside the dial. He had given that watch to a woman in Kumasi 7 years ago. He stepped out, ignoring his team's protests. The market quieted as he approached. "What's your name?" he asked gently. "Z," she replied, eyes steady. "Where did you get this watch?" "My mummy gave it to me," she said. "And your daddy?" She shrugged. "Don't know him. Never met him." KB's chest tightened. This wasn't coincidence. "Let me take you home," he offered. Z shook her head. "Mummy says don't follow strangers." "I'm not a stranger," he said softly. "I just want to help." But she had already turned, her plantain tray perfectly balanced, vanishing into the maze of market stalls. "Follow her," KB told his driver. "Quietly." 10 minutes passed. The driver returned, panting. "She's gone, boss." Slipped past the pepper stalls. Like a ghost. That night, in his Accra penthouse, KB sat in silence, haunted by a child's face, her dusty feet, and a timepiece he thought he'd left in the past. The next morning, KB Ofori rose before the Accra skyline had stretched into daylight. Sleep had been impossible. That watch, that child, that name, Zuri, it echoed louder than any boardroom briefing or investor call. By midday, he was back in Anloga. This time, he came not with his team, but with a quiet resolve and a small gift bag in hand, polished black school shoes, a new backpack filled with Storybix, biscuits, and a soft teddy bear. She was there, just like before, standing near a broken signpost with her plantains. When their eyes met, her lips pulled into a guarded smirk. "You again?" KB nodded. "Told you I'm not bad." He knelt and set the bag down gently. "It's for you." Z hesitated, then crouched beside the bag, opening it slowly. Her face lit up. "Everything is new." "Only if," KB said, "you'll let me walk you home. I want to meet your mom." She studied him like a judge weighing a sentence. "If you lie, we won't talk again." "Deal." They walked through narrow paths flanked by rusted zinc fences and mango trees. Children played soccer with a tied plastic bag. Chickens scurried. The village was loud with life. At the edge of a lagoon sat a tiny mud brick home patched with metal sheets and plastic tops. Z knocked lightly. "Mummy, someone came." The door creaked open. A woman stood in the frame, slim, wrapped in a faded wrapper, eyes sunken but fierce. She stared at KB for a long beat. Recognition hit. Her lips parted. "Kwabena." And just like that, the years collapsed. He remembered the rooftop bar in Kumasi, the night of dancing, her laughter, loud, wild, unforgettable. He had given her that watch, and vanished by morning. Inside the hut, the air was thick with the scent of herbs and the faint damp of lagoon winds. A Jojo Mensima didn't speak at first. She lowered herself onto a raffia mat, legs trembling slightly. KB remained standing, uncertain whether to sit or kneel. "You don't remember me, do you?" she said, voice hoarse. "I remember pieces," he admitted. "You, Kumasi, rooftop bar." She gave a bitter smile. "Figures. Men like you don't remember nights like that. But I do." Z entered with a jug of water and knelt beside her mother. "He brought me shoes. Mummy. Books, too." A Jojo's eyes flicked to the bag, then to KB, "And now you want to buy your way out of guilt." "No," KB said, stepping forward. "I saw the watch. I needed to know." A Jojo lifted her wrist, the same one he'd once kissed in a hotel room after calling her the strongest woman he'd met. "I kept it because that night meant something. Not for what happened, but how it made me feel seen." He placed a thick envelope on the mat. "For medicine. You're not well. She pushed it back. I've made it this far without your pity. That night, he didn't return to Accra. He stayed at a local guest house and walked the market at dawn. When school ended, he waited by the mango tree. Z found him, delighted. Are you lost again? She teased. No, he smiled. I think I'm just where I need to be. Day by day, he returned, helping with homework, buying Puff Puff, laughing at her stories. Jojo remained distant, her pride a barrier, but KB stayed, without expectations, without promises. One afternoon, Z tugged at his hand. Why do you come here? He paused. Because you remind me of someone I should never have forgotten. She reached into her pocket and handed him her most precious thing, a tiny plastic lion. For when you're sad. He clutched it like treasure. The city welcomed KB Ofori back with noise and urgency, honking horns, emails stacked like bricks, investors waiting at the Ofori Heights boardroom. But he moved through it like a man miscast in his own life. The plastic lion stayed in his pocket. He touched it often, during calls, meetings, even a gala where gold-draped elites clinked champagne and praised his vision. But his vision was elsewhere, a small girl by a mango tree and the woman with fire dim behind her eyes. At home in his airport residential penthouse, the marble floors felt colder. May Misi, his elegant fiancée, flipped through a wedding magazine on their velvet couch. A beach wedding in Seychelles, she said, pointing. Simple, intimate. KB nodded, barely registering her words. You're not here, she said sharply, closing the magazine. I'm overwhelmed, he muttered. She narrowed her eyes. Are you cheating? No, he said too quickly. It's not that. But he offered nothing more. That night, she moved to the guest room. Alone, KB sat in the dark, holding the plastic lion. In it, he felt Z's trust, her innocence, her silent question. Are you the kind of man who leaves again? The next morning, he ignored his calendar and drove 5 hours back to Anloga. Rain began halfway there, thick and blinding. He didn't care. His heart was louder than the storm. He parked near the lagoon and stepped out. Thunder cracked. The hut looked smaller now. But what he heard inside brought him to his knees. A voice, a Jojo's, soft, over phone call. He doesn't know. Z is his. KB's breath caught. He had come to give, but now he had something to claim. Rain poured in sheets as KB stood frozen outside the hut, a Jojo's voice still echoing in his ears. He doesn't know Z is his. His knees nearly buckled. Every heartbeat felt like a thunderclap. He had come to offer help, not knowing his own blood had been walking barefoot under Ghana's sun for 6 years. He stepped forward, heart pounding, and pushed the wooden door open. Rainwater dripped from his jacket onto the mud floor. A Jojo turned, startled. Z peeked from behind the curtain, sensing something had shifted. You lied to me, KB said, voice cracking. Why didn't you tell me she's mine? A Jojo's eyes were tired, but calm, because I didn't want your pity. I didn't want you to show up, then disappear again like last time. I didn't know, he said desperately. I didn't know you were pregnant. You left, no number, no way to find you. You left first, she replied. No goodbye, just a night and a promise folded in sheets. He dropped to one knee, the rain still thudding against the roof. I love her. I didn't know I could love someone so fast. I want to be in her life. I want to be her father. Z stepped out, small and quiet. Her eyes were wide, uncertain. Are you really my dad? She whispered. KB opened his arms. Yes, my star. I am, and I will never leave again. She ran into his embrace, clinging to him as though she'd been waiting her whole life. A Jojo turned away, silent tears falling. Outside, the rain slowed. Inside, a storm of 7 years began to settle into peace. The drive back to Accra was quiet. KB didn't touch his phone. He barely noticed the toll booths or the billboard ads. His mind swirled with Zuri's voice, Are you really my dad? And the weight of the life he had walked away from and the one now demanding his full truth. At home, the air felt colder than before. May Misi was waiting, standing by the glass wall overlooking the skyline. Her makeup was perfect, but her eyes, red, tired, betrayed her calm. "We need to talk," she said softly. KB nodded. She hesitated, then placed a small envelope on the table. Inside, a clinic slip. His name, her name, a soft scan print in grayscale. "I didn't know how to tell you," she said. "But it's true. I'm pregnant." The words cut deep. 2 lives now tied to him. One in the city, one by the lagoon. "I won't abandon my child," KB said, steady. "But I won't lie either." "You love her," Mame whispered. "That village woman. And the child." "I love my daughter," he said quietly. "And I respect the woman who raised her without asking me for Pesewa. But I can't marry you, Mame. It wouldn't be fair to you or me." Tears slid down her cheeks. She stood, graceful even in heartbreak. "Then I'll raise this child alone. But don't ever forget that you had a choice." She left without another word. KB sat in silence for hours. Somewhere outside, Accra kept buzzing. But inside, everything stilled. 2 children, 2 mothers, 2 worlds. But only one felt like home. Weeks passed, quiet and intentional. Jojo agreed, reluctantly at first, to seek treatment at a hospital in Ho. KB arranged everything but didn't push. He knew trust had to grow like yam in red soil, deep, slow, and patient. He visited every weekend. Zuri would wait for him by the mango tree, grinning as she ran into his arms. He brought books, puzzles, and once a tiny radio that played high-life music. They laughed at his poor Chi, raced barefoot along the lagoon, and read under the shade of old neem trees. Jojo watched from a distance at first, arms folded, expression unreadable. But slowly she began to soften. She smiled when KB struggled to help Zuri with fractions. She allowed him to fetch water from the well. One evening, she sat beside him on the mat and helped him grind pepper in the asanka. "City hands," she teased, watching him fumble. He chuckled. "They're learning." Z began calling him Papa with ease. KB never corrected her. He wore it like a new name etched into his chest. One Sunday, after church, they sat beneath the sky eating boiled yam and kontamai stew. Z leaned her head on his shoulder, whispering, "I like it when you stay longer." He held her close, heartful. "I like it too, Stargirl." That night, he sat with Jojo while Z slept nearby. The candle flickered between them. "You've changed," she said. He met her gaze. "Maybe I finally arrived." They didn't speak of the past again. There was no need. The healing had begun, not through speeches or gifts, but in shared silences, simple meals, and the steady rhythm of presence. The wind was warm that Sunday evening as KB walked beside Jojo and Z down the red dirt path near the coast of Adafo. The sky glowed with burnt orange, and the baobab tree ahead stood tall and silent, its roots like ancient arms embracing the land. Z chased dragonflies in the fading light, her laughter rising like song. Jojo walked slowly, wrapped in a light blue cloth, her eyes clear for the first time in months. KB slowed his steps. The velvet box in his pocket felt heavier than gold. They reached the tree. Z spun in circles, arms wide, singing a song only children know. KB turned to Jojo. She looked at him, wary, but open. "I've made a lot of promises," he began. "Some I didn't keep, some I never meant to. But this one," he dropped to one knee. "This one is different." He opened the box. A simple gold ring. In the center, a green stone, like the Ghana earth. "I didn't come here to rescue you. You never needed saving. I came here because I found who I was in the space you carved with nothing but strength and silence. Marry me, Jojo, not because of Z, not out of guilt, but because you are home." Jojo's eyes filled. She knelt beside him and touched his face. "I will, but only if you never forget the dirt road that brought you back." He smiled. "I couldn't, even if I tried." That night, they sat under the baobab, watching Z chase fireflies, her laughter echoing through the dusk. Not every story ends in a city. Some begin where the road is rough, the truth is raw, and love grows slow, carved by pain, held by grace. And beneath that tree, a father, a daughter, and a mother rewrote the ending they were never given.